Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here with another color grading tutorial. I haven't been able to make one of these videos lately because I'm working with the clients and also I'm trying out new stuff. I'm researching different kind of topics like AI side of things. So I've been neglecting color grading tutorials recently, but I always come back to this topic. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I color grade my Sony a6700 footage, this bad boy right here. I bought this camera like 6 months ago and I wanted to have a small camera that I can carry around with me all the time and take some quality shots, and I wanted to make that as simple as possible. This is a really great little camera. I'm not going to talk about all the specs and everything. You can find that in YouTube, but know that it has really great video features and also it delivers really great photos as well. So today I want to show you how I color grade these videos for my own projects. If you're ready, let's jump right into Davinci Resolve. Alright, now I'm inside Davinci Resolve. I've got my footage ready to go. So first of all, I want to show you my project settings. Under color management, my timeline color space is Davinci White Gamut Intermediate and my output color space is Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. If you want to use a specific LUT for your project, you can change this trilinear to tetrahedral. When you open a project, it automatically opens up with trilinear, but selecting tetrahedral is better option. Always keep that in mind. This footage is from my Sony a6700. I shot this during a trip to Baku, Azerbaijan, and this is a nighttime scene, but you can apply anything I do here on every kind of footage. No problem about that. So let's start with the basics. I'm going to add a node. This one is CST in, this is CST out. I'm gonna go into my FX library and drop a color space transform. Our color space is Sony S-Gamut3 Cine and S-Log3. And I'm going to work in the Davinci White Gamut color space. So output color space is Davinci White Gamut, output gamma is Davinci Intermediate. I don't want tone mapping for the input CST. And I'm holding Alt and dragging this to the out. And here I can swap this, change the output color space to Rec 709 and output gamma to gamma 2.4. All right. And then for the tone mapping, I'm going to go with Davinci, use custom max output. For the gamut mapping method, I'm going to select saturation compression. This is my basic Rec 709 transformation. As you can see, we got a pretty good start here. After that, I will add 3 more nodes. I'm going to name the nodes as I go. First one is white balance. Second, exposure. Third one is contrast. And this one, saturation. I might add another one here for the custom curves, but I'm not going to do that. I will add another node and with Alt P on the windows, I'm adding parallel nodes. These are for the secondary adjustments. The first one, log wheels. Second one, I'm going to use color slice here. And this one is custom curves. And then I'll add 2 more nodes. Let's leave this one empty. I'm going to add another parallel node to this. This one is power window 1. This one, power window 2. After the power windows, I will add 2 more nodes and these are going to be my effects. I can use any effect I want here. Okay, this is my general power grade. I always do this setup before I start color grading. I will start with the white balance. There are so many ways to white balance your footage. I'm just going to use the best method I know. I'm going to right click on the white balance node and then going to gamma and select linear. Then I'm going to take the Luma mixer to 0 and with the gain wheel, I'm going to control my white balance. I'm looking at the car on the back for the white. And I think that's pretty cool. I neutralized all the magenta tones in the shadow areas. and also in the skin tone, I can move on to the exposure. For the exposure node, I will go into HDR wheels, and here I'm just going to crank up the global wheel just a touch. Then we can lower the lights a bit and maybe shadows also. Okay, I'm not going to do too much here because contrast node is much more important for me. For the contrast nodes, I will go into primaries panel, and first I will lower the pivot point to around 335. It's like this range in the scopes. It's not going to have so much effect on the skin tones. That's why this number is important. And then we can crank up the contrast, 1900, 1800. Yeah, I think this is fine. Right. It looks great. This is before, this is after. This is all done with 3 nodes. All right, moving on. Then I will go into saturation node. Again, here I have so many options. I can use a DCTL, color slices, saturation slider is really great. And also saturation slider in HDR wheels is also great. Let's just go with this one. Let's make it simpler as possible. I will just crank up the ISO just a bit. I will go too far and then pull it back. 110 is enough for now, I think. Okay, that's great. That's looking great already. First, I want to put a power window around my subject. I will go into window, select a circular window and adjust the position, feather it out. I'm going to invert this selection, so I will only affect the outer parts of our image and decrease gamma slightly. This is before, this is after. I also want to add a outside node. I'm going to right click on the first node and add node and add an outside node. This one is going to affect the inside of that window. And I'm going to increase the gamma this time, increase the light on our subject. Not that much, just a little. Together, this is before, this is after. The focus is shifting to the center with just these 2 nodes. Right now, the background is much more obvious, but now she is much more in focus. Okay, I'm not going to use another power window. Now I will go back to my secondary adjustments. In the primaries panel, I'm going to go into log wheels. This one is really great for shadows, midtones, and highlight. You can control them separately, and I always check for my shadows and my highlights from this panel. Actually, there are not much going on because it's a nighttime, and if I push too hard on the shadows, it's going to crash. So I have to be gentle with this. I'm looking at my scopes and I'm being careful not to crash the blacks. I think this level is fine. Let's also check highlights. I don't want to push too much. I think that's okay. Now I will move on to color slice tool. I use color slice tool for specific colors. If there's something I want to fix, I use this tool. For example, reds on her coat is too saturated. Maybe we can drop that a little bit. And also the density. Also, I can raise the overall density of the image. This also helps for more rich, vibrant colors. I want to also desaturate the skin tones a bit. Yeah, I think the rest is fine. Lastly, I want to go into custom curves. I'm not going to touch hue versus hue, hue versus saturation. I will go straight to saturation versus luminance. This one is for the highlights. Also gives much filmic saturation. I'm trying to create a curve, maybe raise this a bit. Okay, so these are my secondary adjustments. With these, I can get much more deep and great contrast and also saturation level. As you can see, this is before, this is after. Let's also check all of the adjustments together. This is before, this is after, with everything from log to the graded. And this is every adjustment I made. And I think it looks really great. Lastly, I want to add one effect. Lately, I've been using color tone diffuser. I'm not using tone lights. I use highlight soft clip. Let's enable that. As you can see the background, it just compresses highlights a bit more. And I can decide the strength of this effect with the threshold. Around this is good. I'm not using shadow soft clip. I'm going straight into diffusion. I think this gives really nice effect. When you click on diffusion, you can see edges of the lights starts kind of glowing, and it gives more dreamy kind of vibe. You can lower the resolution from here. That also gives much softer look. Also, we can decide how much we want of this effect. And radius controls how far the effect is spilling. All right. So after this point, you can stylize your footage any way you want. You can add film grain, you can add halation. Also, split tone is a great effect. You can create a custom split tone with the custom curves, or you can just use Resolve's built-in split tone effect. And let me also show that. This is far too strong for the beginning. You can decrease the strength and have a nice split tone effect. Gives a nice filmic vibe. You can also use this note tree on any of your clips. You just have to, of course, tweak the settings according to your specific clip. For example, in this one, the exposure is too high. You can just go ahead and decrease the exposure, correct the white balance according to that. And this is a great way to speed up your workflow. So that's it for today's tutorial. If you have this awesome camera, awesome little beast of a camera, please make sure to do everything you see here in this tutorial with your own footage. And you can comment down below whatever you liked about this camera, or maybe you have another method that you want to share. I really would love to hear that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.